Hey everyone, Shabby here and welcome back to another episode of our SWE World Cup. This one is huge now. Due to the results from our USA versus New Zealand the other day, this one is massive here from Sacramento, California. It is Europe versus Scotland. And here is our opening match of the evening. It is going to be Rusev versus Noam Dar. Both these guys lost their matches in the first episode, so both determined to turn things around a little bit. Now, of course, if you've not seen the other episodes so far, I do suggest you go back and watch them because I will be giving out spoilers as we go through. And first of all, the big spoiler then is obviously what happened between the US and New Zealand. Completely unexpected what happened as well. With New Zealand just scraping past Scotland at 3-2 and US hammering Europe 5-0, I really expected some more of the same from the US, to be honest. But New Zealand getting a 4-1 victory over US, which now puts New Zealand top of the group by 1 point, I think. I can't remember what it was now. New Zealand have got 7. Yeah, US have got 6. Scotland's on 2. Europe's on 0. Europe needs a 5-0 win here. They really, really need a 5-0 win to try and secure themselves back in the group. Because at the moment, with that New Zealand victory over the US, and US having to face off against the lowest seed Scotland in the final match, unless Europe really pulls off something amazing here and against New Zealand as well, I think Europe are going to be out of this competition. I think that 5-0 loss against the US may have killed them off already. But it all depends on what happens here. If they do not win tonight, 5-0, I really think it's the end of the road for Europe. Which is a shame because I thought they were a really good team, to be honest. I really thought there could be some big things for Rusev, Cesaro and Aleister Black as a triad. But unfortunately for them, they were one of the only 2 matches that finished 5-0. I couldn't believe it, to be honest. Like, there was some I expected to finish 5-0 that didn't. Like, I thought India would have a strong showing against Australia, which they did, but then they got 4-1. I thought Germany would have a very strong showing against Puerto Rico, which they did, but they only got 4-1. Yeah, but for that last match to finish 5-0 was crazy, really. And out comes Noam Dar, the only Scotsman not to win a singles match against New Zealand. Jester and Drew McIntyre both did win theirs. But yeah, that result for New Zealand the other day over the US was massive. That was really, really big. And I think that is going to secure New Zealand a knockout spot, I believe. Unless US has a horrible time against Scotland, which I can't see, to be honest. I mean, Noam Dar is a good wrestler, but I don't think he's quite at the level of the likes of Seth Rollins, AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan. Jester and Drew McIntyre, again, I think very much the same. We'll find out. But Rusev versus Noam Dar. Rusev will need this point. He needs to get Europe's night off to a strong start and hammer Noam Dar if he can. And try and conserve as much energy as he possibly can for the 6-man tag later on. Run straight into a belly-to-belly suplex. That's a good start by Rusev. Now brings Noam Dar back up to his feet and a spinning heel kick as well. Rusev having a very strong start here against Noam Dar, but Dar fighting back, sending Rusev into the corner. Of course, both these guys would like to try and utilise their signature finishing and submission manoeuvres. Of course, Noam Dar looking for the knee bar and Rusev potentially for the accolade. But it is Rusev who is just outpowering Noam Dar at some points. I think there is going to be a few squash matches coming up in this as well, I think. Especially when we get a few guys. I'm not saying that Noam Dar is necessarily going to get hammered, but I feel like against the USI guys, Noam Dar is really going to struggle. He's struggling here against Rusev as well. But like, for example, Puerto Rico, when Epico and Primo come up against the likes of the Samoans and the Mexicans, I think they're going to struggle. I think that's going to be... That's an interesting group, that one, I think, though. I think Germany are definitely going to throw a spanner in the works. That's Group C, of course. We'll start back into Group B in our next episode. I think we've got England versus Australia is the next one. No, it's not. Japan versus India first, then England versus Australia. Again, I think I'd be surprised if India could break the England-Japan at the top, to be honest. But it's possible. India had a very good showing in the first episode. A 4-1 win, like we said, over Australia. If they can get a decent result against Japan, you never know. Nice reversal there by Noam Dar. Reversing that slam into a tornado DDT. As Dar now dropping a knee right in the side of the leg, and another one in the side of the leg of Rusev, and a third in the side of the leg of Rusev as well. Noam Dar now again going after that leg and maybe trying to weaken it potentially for the knee bar later on. But this is not what Rusev wants. He doesn't want to be picking up any niggling injuries that are going to affect him for the rest of the night. Because of course, well, there is the knee bar by Noam Dar locked in on Rusev. If Rusev taps, I think Europe are as good as out of this competition. No, Rusev does fight free. Noam Dar, it would have been a great one for Noam Dar if he got this, you know. Scotland could throw a real spanner in the works here, I think. If Scotland get a good performance, looking for that running, shining wizard, but Rusev avoided it. If Scotland put in a good performance here this evening, they could be in with a shout of actually getting the second place spot, depending on how they got against USA. Oh, Noam Dar crashes and burns to the outside, launched over the top by Rusev, and this one's actually been a lot more close than you'd expect it to be honest, isn't it? As Dar now throwing Rusev into the steps, and maybe Dar's been watching the Epico tape from the other day. Going to try and immobilize Rusev completely on the outside before trying to maybe get a count-out victory. It worked for Epico. He got a good win over Alexander Wolf, which was lucky he did because they lost the night 4-1, so it would have been 5-0 if he hadn't got that point. But Dar does throw Rusev back in the ring and follows him back in himself. Rusev rolled over by Dar. Only for a 1 count though. Dar stamping on the back of Rusev. Heads up to the middle rope. But will Rusev back up to his feet? Going to give a little bit of high risk. But will there be high reward? Yes, there is. Nice drop kick. So yeah, after this episode, we should have a very much an idea of what's going on in Group A of this situation. I feel like at the moment, because that strong win by New Zealand, it might be done and dusted in Group A already, you know. Rusev fighting free from another submission. Really just able to outpower out those submissions, really. Nice boot there by Rusev, and now drags Noam Dar centre of the ring. Big double fist to the back of Noam Dar, and bring him back up to his feet once again. This one's going longer than I thought it would, to be honest with you. I thought Rusev might walk this. But Noam Dar is really giving him a lot more to think about, and Rusev looking for that stamp on the back he normally uses to transition into the accolade, but not able to hit it. As now Noam Dar taking Rusev up onto the top into a tree of woe position, but gets caught with a knee in the face by Rusev. Looking for the belly to belly, but once... Oh, I've just hit the microphone. I do apologise. That came through as a nice little bang. Noam Dar reverse DDT. Now stamping on the arm, and say if Noam Dar gets a victory here, this is great for Scotland, but it could be terrible, terrible for Europe. And this could, to be honest, Europe could finish bottom of this group at this rate. And they were the second seed team in the group as well. There's the knee bar once again on Rusev. Will he tap? Oh my god, it's huge. It is huge. Noam Dar, the only man in the last episode not to get a singles victory, has started things off strong here with a victory over Rusev, which means that Europe is not going to get that 5-0 win they really need. And it also means that Scotland pull away as well now from Europe. Means Europe is going to need an impressive night here not to finish the group bottom. They're going to need to get all 4 points now to not do that. Crazy. I could not believe this. I really thought Rusev would have this one against Noam Dar. I mean, the other two are a bit more even. We've got Cesaro versus Drew McIntyre and Aleister Black versus Jack Jester. I think those two matches are a bit more even. I thought that Rusev should really have this one against Noam Dar, but there he is. Dar Wars is taken over. Da 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 da. It's more of a UK indie scene. Everyone used to do that, didn't they? Da 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 da. Used to get a lot of that in the UK indie scene. It was a real cult classic, this guy was. Being missed by the UK indie scene, I think. And here is our second match of the evening as Jack Jester takes on Aleister Black in what is a very important match in this one. If Jack Jester wins this one, then that will mean that no matter what happens here this evening, Europe will finish the group bottom after 2 matches. And this has stunned me, it really has, because I really thought that Europe would get a strong showing here today. Maybe get all 5 points and throw themselves back in the fight, but it looks like that's not going to happen here. Noam Dar getting the opening point. If Jack Jester gets a victory here as well, then yeah, Europe are looking in a pretty bad position. Scotland were the 4th seeded team in the group as well, and they've not looked too bad so far. 3 points from 3 points from 1 match and 1.2 matches. Is that right? 1.25 matches, I don't know. I'm babbling crap here, aren't I? It's too late. That's the problem. I'm recording on a late night again. I've enjoyed this. I literally recorded the other Group A match about an hour or 2 before this. I'm really enjoying this World Cup. It's been a long time since I've got to a point where I've really looked forward to recording. So I'm really doing well with this World Cup, and it's good because I'm going away in a couple of weeks. So it'd be nice to have everything ready for when I go on holiday, so I don't end up missing content when I'm away. Or you guys don't end up missing content when I'm away. It means I can keep the channel going, which is what I should have done before I moved house. But yeah, I didn't realise how much packing and that I had to do. But I'm in my new house now. That's the main thing. And this new cozy recording setup's fantastic. I mean, laying on the sofa while recording is just it's just amazing. No longer do I have to sit at the computer. I can now chill out. It's great fun. It's much more comfortable. It's probably why I'm recording a lot more as well, actually, because I've never been this far ahead. I'm currently 2 weeks ahead of myself, which is amazing for me. I've never been this far ahead before. I got so far ahead I was able to start recording something new that I've wanted to do for a long time, which has actually been uploaded already, isn't it? Yeah, Fallout RimWorld. I've been wanting that for a long time, but I've just never been able to get around to it. And now here we are. Look at Aleister Black, one of my favourites. Want to see some more from him in WWE. He's going to be really cool on the main roster, I think. He's another one of them guys, just like Shinsuke, where he doesn't have to say much, but he's just so charismatic. Like, at the moment, you look at him now, and he just has an aura about him. A presence that a lot of wrestlers just don't have. He just exudes confidence and exudes ability. And that's the same thing with Nakamura. Like I say, Nakamura doesn't have to say anything, he just gets over. So Aleister Black versus Jack Jester. 2 guys who have battled before in ICW quite a few times. And now they get the chance here in the SWE World Cup. So Jack Jester versus Aleister Black. The bell goes, we are underway in this all-important match. If Europe do not win the next 3 matches, they will finish the group after the second match bottom, with everything to fight for in that final match where they face off against New Zealand. They've got to be, that's the problem, they need to be within touch of New Zealand. So New Zealand are currently on 7 points. So Europe need to win the episode. They need to get 3 points in order, at least 3 points, in order to be able to beat New Zealand. And even if they do, they need to beat them 5-0 on the night. So it's just crazy now. They have to get the 4 points here, really, in my opinion, to stand much chance. Because I mean, they'd need 4 points to equal. No, they'd need all 5 points still. I think they have to win this 4-1, or was they're not going to get ahead of ahead of New Zealand. But they possibly could get ahead of US, depending on the score between US and Scotland. It's really tricky, but I think that Europe might have left it a little bit too late now. I think that New Zealand victory over the US has really just killed Europe off. Nice DDT there by Aleister Black, now looking to drop a boot, and he does. Black, nice brainbuster on Jack Jester. A boot in the face as well. I quite like Jack Jester. Knee strike right inside the face there by Black on Jack. Jack Black. A back elbow. I do like the Black Mass as well. It's one of my favourite finisher manoeuvres, that is. I'm always normally against the strike as a finisher manoeuvre. But for his, I just feel like it's legit. Like, Big Show's WMD I thought was awful. Reigns' Superman Punch is diabolical. JBL's Clothesline from Hell was terrible. But for some reason, the Black Mass Kick for me is just something that I do genuinely feel is an amazing finisher. It's just a bit different, I suppose, because everyone uses a clothesline, everyone uses a punch. Whereas that spinning heel kick, not a lot of people use it, do they? Jack needs to pay attention here because he gets caught out by Aleister Black. And Jester being clever there, rolling to the outside of the rope so he can't get pinned. Aleister Black allowing Jack Jester a few seconds to breathe. What is Aleister Black on here? Both guys drop to the outside and the battle looks to commence. Jack Jester breaking free into that reverse DDT on the outside. Jack Jester slides back in. Is he looking to win this one by count out? It's not going to work. Aleister Black's back up on his feet and slides back in as well. Jack Jester now, flatliner. A stamp in the back of Aleister Black, and Jack Jester now heading up to the middle ropes. As Aleister Black heads back up to his feet. Double axe handled by Jack Jester. Nice jawbreaker by Aleister Black. And a big kick across the chest as well. Aleister Black now heading to the outside. The Quesadora. Double foot stomp to the grounded Jack Jester. And Aleister Black is looking like he's starting to feel it now. Brings Jack Jester up into that vertical suplex. A boot right in the gut, and now a kick across the spine. Aleister Black looking for the ace crusher, but Jack Jester threw him away. And Jack Jester now just... Oh, some heavy strikes taking Aleister Black down. Now Black slides to the outside so he can't be pinned. Stiff forearm by Jack Jester, who slides out the ring, following after Aleister Black. Referee starts his count once again. This fight has fallen to the outside a few times. These two guys know each other so well, as you can tell. The amount of reversals and avoidance of big maneuvers. They know exactly what they're doing. I'm quite sure the point of that there by Aleister Black, but it's into a deadlift German. See, if he hadn't spun him around and hit the deadlift German, he would have been able to get the pin, but for some reason, maybe he was trying to drop his neck on that bottom rope, maybe. As Jester now takes Aleister Black down. This could be awful. This could be the nail in the coffin for Europe if Jack Jester can pin Aleister Black. Tombstone piledriver. Jack Jester did get a victory in our previous episode against Travis Banks. And now... Oh, no. I was about to say now he's defeated Aleister Black, but Black kicked out. Jester now with a snapmare on Aleister Black. Black fighting back. With that right hand in the gut. Nice strikes there by Aleister Black. Now heads up to the top rope. We know he likes to utilise the double foot stomp from here normally. And there it is, the big double foot stomp. Will it be enough, though, to keep Jester down? Is Aleister Black going to continue the assault, actually, instead of going for the pin? It's a bit of an odd one. There's a DDT now by Aleister Black. Dropping a boot in the gut. I don't know why Aleister Black didn't go for the kill after that. That big... now go for the Ace Crusher once again. Gets thrown away. Once again, now Jester getting behind. And takes him down. There's the pin by Jester. 1, 2. Only a 2 count. Aleister Black kicking out once again. Elbow in the forehead by Jester. Now slamming the back of the head of Aleister Black into the mat. Brings Black back up to his feet. Into the corner, but Black fighting back. And there it is, the Black Mass out of nowhere. Black drops into the pin and surely 1, 2... and 3, and Aleister Black with a Black Mass out of nowhere gets Europe their first point of the competition. That is terrible, it's their first point, but it is effective, and Black makes it 1-1 on the evening. It's all down now to Cesaro and Drew McIntyre to see who gets the 3rd point here this evening. There's the handshake that said these two guys know each other very well from their time in ICW together, and some mutual respect being shown. And here's our next match of the evening. It will be Cesaro versus Drew McIntyre. All important, this one. This one, again, just like the last match, if Drew McIntyre gets the win, then Team Europe will definitely be bottom of the group at the end of the episode. But if Cesaro gets the win, there's still the chance that Europe could overtake Scotland here this evening and still be in with a chance. Although they would need to beat New Zealand 5-0. To get ahead of New Zealand next episode. Or, if Scotland have a good showing against the US, then maybe Europe could steal in front of the US. There's a lot of ifs and buts at the moment. Obviously, things are going to start to take shape over the next few weeks. But Group A is really hotting up, although I feel like at the end of this episode we might already be sure. Maybe not mathematically sure, but logically sure who's going to go through and who's not. And then we're on to Group B, like I said, in a few days' time. With Japan versus India, which is a pretty interesting one as well. Both those teams, well, actually India's top of the group, aren't they? So Japan needs a good result there to get ahead of India at least. India, of course, getting a 4-1 win over Australia. Probably should have been 5-0, but Buddy Murphy got a win over Jinder Mahal, which is a bit of a surprise. So yeah, that should be an interesting one if Japan can get the big victory over India. And then England versus Australia. That could be a good one for England. If they can get a win there, then that should hopefully for them confirm their spot, especially if Japan is able to hammer India. It definitely will. So that'll be interesting. And then we've got even more good stuff coming up for you on Group C, where we've got Samoa versus Germany. That's a big one. With Samoa really struggling in the first set of matches. Of course, they lost 4-1 to Mexico. And Germany getting a 4-1 win. If Germany pulls off a half-decent performance there against Samoa, then Germany could knock them out and Germany could take their place in the 2nd round. And also Mexico take on Puerto Rico. Then Group D, we've got Canada versus Tonga, which is very, very good because Canada, I think, got a 3-2 win over Ireland, and Tonga, of course, got a 5-0 win over South Africa. So that's an interesting match. Then with Ireland taking on South Africa as well. So a lot of interesting stuff to come. I don't think anything's going to be confirmed after these 2nd group matches, but we might be able to confirm a few teams that are not going to go through. But I don't think Group A is going to be like that, to be honest. It'll be interesting, though, because it means that if Europe do win this one 4-1, then it means that Europe's place in the next round will be in their own hands against New Zealand in the next episode. And it also means that Scotland's future will be in their own hands as well when they take on US. If Scotland beat US convincingly, then they might go forward as well, because US are on 6. Scotland's on 4 at the moment. No, Scotland's on 3. No, Scotland's on 4. No, 3. Yeah, Scotland's on 3 points at the moment. They got 2 in the first episode and 1 in this one. So they are currently 3 points beneath the US. So again, they would need a 5-0 win to go ahead of the US. Cesaro slides free from that powerbomb attempt into a big uppercut. But like I said, Europe need the 4-1 win here to stand any chance as well. But it would be in their own hands then. They have a strong performance against New Zealand and all of a sudden they can go through. Cesaro dropping the double axe handle to the seated Drew McIntyre. Boot in the gut as well. Cesaro's on one here. He knows how important this is for his team. Taking McIntyre up into a vertical suplex. There's the pin. 1. Only 1 count. Nice attempt there at a ace crusher. Reversed by McIntyre, then into a Fez press. I'm getting lower and lower and lower on this sofa. I'm hoping you can still hear me properly. Nice German suplex there by Cesaro as well on McIntyre. And Cesaro is taking the control. He's a strong man. Pound for pound, probably the strongest man in WWE. And SWE as well, in that fact. I mean, Cena's very, very strong. But I think Cesaro might be the strongest. Cesaro, of course, scoop slammed the Big Show like he was nothing a few years ago in the first Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. McIntyre now twisting the head of Cesaro, who fights back up to his feet. There's the big right hand to the kidney of McIntyre. Cesaro, nice running uppercut in the corner. Drops into the pin. 1. Only a 1 count. The uppercut wasn't quite enough. Cesaro now draping McIntyre over the ropes, then clotheslines him over the top. Cesaro willing McIntyre back up to his feet. What's he going to go for here? Runs off with a nice diving forearm from that apron to the outside. Is that Byron? That is Byron Saxton. It looks a bit like Coach. Just the ball patch on top, I think, isn't it? Nice boot in the face there by Cesaro. He is dominating this match. I think Drew McIntyre is definitely going to struggle here. But he does get caught out, Cesaro, with that clothesline. But how much has Drew got in him now after this beating he's taken so far? Big headbutt. Big headbutt. But there's Cesaro once again to take McIntyre down. I don't know why the game used that move so much. It doesn't really work, does it? That running double axe handle. Cesaro now bringing McIntyre back up, looking for the ace crusher. McIntyre throws him away. Nobody's really hit that ace crusher once this episode. A lot of people have gone for it. Keeps getting reversed, doesn't it? McIntyre now just stamping on the knee of Cesaro, brings him back up to his feet. And slams him down face first on the outside. Is he going to go for a count-out win here? Is he going to try and do it cleanly? Doesn't really matter either way. Like, you get the point either way. It doesn't really matter how you do it. Referee's up to a 6, and Cesaro just pops back into it all of a sudden, throws McIntyre back into the ring. McIntyre now looking for it, and he hits it, the double arm DDT. Wow, out of nowhere, McIntyre might have just won this one. Pulls Cesaro back into the middle of the ring. There's the pin. 1, 2. Wow. They have out of nowhere. Out of nowhere, Drew McIntyre getting the pin. That means Drew McIntyre's won 2 out of 2 matches so far in this competition. The only person in the Scottish team to do so. So that makes it 2-1 on the night to Scotland. And that puts Scotland up on 5 points, you know. Now, if Scotland have a good showing against the US, Scotland could really cause some problems, you know. They really could. And here we go. And then here is the big one. The big six-man tag. Team Scotland's McIntyre, Dar and Jester take on Team Europe's Rusev, Cesaro and Aleister Black. Now, I just realised I keep going on about this whole situation with Europe and New Zealand fighting over who's going to be second place and who's going to go through. And I just realised that Scotland are really in this one still. I mean, if Scotland get these 2 points here in this six-man tag, then all of a sudden, Scotland will be on the same amount of points as the US moving into the Scotland versus US match. Which means that if Scotland have a good show in there and maybe even win the episode, they could finish ahead of the US. So I keep going on about how good Europe is doing, but Scotland could do this, you know. They could just pull this off. However, if Scotland don't win here, it's going to make it a lot more difficult. They're going to have to beat the US like 4-1 or 5-0. But it gives Europe a little bit of an incentive. But even still, if Scotland does have a good showing against the US, whether they can go through or not, they could hold the US back for Europe. Of course, Europe is on 1 point at the moment. If Europe get a win here, they'll be on 3 points. The US will be on 5. So if Scotland have a strong showing against the US, then Europe could catch them up. It would take a massive win for Europe, though, and a massive defeat for the US. But, again, it's mathematically possible. I'm glad we got to a point now where the entrances are working again. I don't know why the stupid bloody game, eh? Just a few of the first episodes of the entrances weren't working, but I was going to say, because I went through and made all these entrances. Oh, God. It's late. It's like midnight on a Monday and I'm still recording. Why am I doing this to myself? So Team Scotland, not won an episode so far yet, but did the same thing in the last one, didn't they? They got 2 wins in the singles matches in their last match, but couldn't win the six-man tag and ended up losing the night 3-2. Will the same thing happen here, or will they be able to go through with it and actually win this six-man tag? If they do win the six-man tag, like I said, it's very much down to them versus the US for that second place slot at that point in time. But I do feel like the US... Well, saying that, I said the same thing already, haven't I? I said that I thought Europe would have a strong showing here against Scotland, and I said that I thought the US would have a strong showing against New Zealand, and so far I've been completely wrong, so... who knows? Oh, God. I'm going to fall asleep in a minute. These guys don't hurry up their entrance, eh? Rusev not looking happy with himself, of course. He has lost 2 matches in 2, as has Cesaro. Aleister Black, the only person in the Europe team to get a pinfall so far in this entire tournament. That means they've had 7 matches now, and they've only got 1 victory in those 7 matches. But this one is the big one. If they could have picked any match tonight, they would have picked this one because it is worth 2 points. And they look ready. Will Scotland fall at the final hurdle once again? Will Europe get those all-important points they need? Or Scotland take advantage and draw equal with the US with 1 match left to go? Referee rings the bell. And we are underway. Look at that knee in the gut there by Rusev on Drew McIntyre. That was impressive. And what is Cesaro up to? But he's going to suffer from that, Cesaro. He got caught with a super German suplex by Noam Dar. It's Aleister Black now raining the kicks on Jack Jester. Oh, not a knee strike that was. Cesaro neckbreaker on Noam Dar as well. It's quite even at the moment. It's pretty back and forth on some of these fights, apart from Noam Dar just getting hammered here by Cesaro. I still can't believe that Noam Dar got the victory here today, to be honest with you. I thought Noam Dar was going to be the weak link in the Scotland side, but yeah, no offence to Noam Dar, like, he's a very, very good wrestler, but I just felt like he could have been the weak link in this one. Just because the other 2 guys are a lot more experienced. Oh, yawning again. I do apologise. That is the price we must pay for getting these recordings done before I go away on holiday. But like I said, it's going really well at the moment. I'm really enjoying recording this. So I managed to knock out a lot of episodes. Well, I go on holiday 2 weeks today, and I'm currently 2 weeks ahead of myself. So, in theory, if I keep up with this schedule, I should be... So I'm going away for two and a bit weeks. So if I can keep to this schedule, then I should be pretty good for everything being uploaded and ready, which is a situation I don't think I've ever been in. If I get all 2 weeks worth of stuff uploaded and ready by the time I go away, that would be the first time I've ever been able to be that organised. It'd be great. Cesaro, great suplex on Noam Dar. Jester taking out Aleister Black as Drew McIntyre hitting the gut-wrench powerbomb on Rusev, and all of a sudden Team Scotland are in control. I say if Team Scotland get this, I think Europe can kiss goodbye to this competition. They'll have the one match against New Zealand left, but I feel like New Zealand are going to win that one and maybe top the group. If Europe do get a win here, there's a possibility they could survive, but it's not a guarantee. They need a very, very strong showing. Basically, if Europe do win this one, can they actually do it here, though, right? Because Europe's on 1 point, and New Zealand is on 7. So if Europe get the 3 points here, the 2 points, sorry, that'll put them up to 3. So there'll be 4 points behind New Zealand. So they would have to win 5-0 against New Zealand to stand a chance of going through. Which I don't know if that's be possible. Big knee strike in the face of Aleister Black on Drew McIntyre. Jester crawls back into the ring. Gets taken down by Cesaro. As Europe really using the numbers game very, very well in the middle of the ring now. It's 3-on-1. Well, it's 3-on-3 now, but Scotland are struggling to get any offense at all. Brainbuster by Aleister Black. Rusev backbreaker on Drew McIntyre as Cesaro pinning Jester down the corner with those chops. There's that massive European uppercut by Cesaro. He goes for the pin. There's a matchka kick to the back of the head as well by Rusev. And a double foot stomp by Aleister Black. Someone's got to go for a pin. Somebody go for a pin, for God's sake. You all just hit massive maneuvers on your opponents as... Oh, here we go. Cesaro looking to line up. Oh, he's going sharp shooter on Noam Dar. Someone needs to block off Jester. Will Noam Dar tap? Middle of the ring. He does. Noam Dar taps and USA and Europe gets the victory, which means it's a 3-2 win on the night for Europe. It's not the victory they would have wanted, but it is a victory nonetheless. It is going to put them back within a fighting distance of New Zealand and the US. Essentially, Europe now knows that if they win their final match 5-0, they will progress into the knockout stage. But they also know if they don't win it 5-0, if Scotland has a decent showing against the US, then they still have a chance. That big win for New Zealand over the US was just crazy, wasn't it? That's really thrown this match in every single direction. So that's a massive win. A massive win for Europe. They needed that one. So let's throw a league table up on the screen to slowly fade in. There it is. So as you can see, I'm trying to do this from memory now. As you can see, we have got New Zealand top of the group on 7 points. US second on 6 points. We have got Scotland third on 4 points. And Europe fourth on 3 points, with Scotland versus the US to come, and Europe versus New Zealand. So like I said, if Europe get the 5-0 win over New Zealand, they will progress. If Europe get a decent win over New Zealand and Scotland win over US, then again Europe could still progress. But I can't see that happening. I really feel like in the next set of matches that both US and New Zealand will win and show their ability and progress further in this tournament. It looks that way anyway, and both those teams will then go into the knockout stages. But finishing first or second is going to be the big question, because you can hit some very, very big teams depending on where you finish in the group. And with England defeating Japan in the last episode, that's going to throw a bit of a spanner in the works, because a lot of teams would have thought if we finish top, we'll get an easier team in the second round. But if Japan finishes second, that might not be a team many people want to face off against. But there we go. We'll have to find out when we start looking at Group B in a few days' time when we see Japan versus India. That's our next episode. Anyway, if you have enjoyed this one, please do hit a like and of course subscribe if you want to see some more. I've been Shabby Gamer, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.